This is Eric Hayden with the National Weather Service in Morehead City, North Carolina. This is your Tropical Storm Isaias update as of 8:45 Monday morning. Not a lot of change overnight in terms of track. It's still expecting Isaias to move to the northeast to be over or near southeast North Carolina early Tuesday morning and then rapidly move to the northeast. In fact, we should see some improving weather by Tuesday afternoon. The core of the strongest impacts for our area still tonight and early Tuesday morning. You'll see tropical storm warnings including our coastline and up the coast, and hurricane warnings down toward Wilmington, North Carolina. As far as the threat level goes for our area, not a lot of change overnight tonight. We've gotten some questions with regards to the potential for Isaias strengthening into a hurricane. As far as our area is concerned, the difference between a high-end tropical storm or a low-end hurricane, not a lot of difference. You should be prepared for impacts such as wind, surge if you live near bodies of water, the potential for flash flooding due to heavy rain. Tornado risk is enhanced. In addition, we've seen that threat from rip currents already over the weekend into this week. Isaias is a great example that any tropical cyclone, whether it's a tropical storm or a hurricane or no matter what category it is, produces many impacts. It's not always just about the wind. In addition to wind, there's many things that can occur with any cyclone. As far as the most likely time of arrival, this has not changed. We really expect the core of the wind and the surge and the tornadoes to be overnight tonight. Please have multiple ways to get warnings. This is going to be occurring when most folks are sleeping, so keep that in mind. We'll start off with winds. We expect sustained tropical storm force winds across most of eastern North Carolina. Based on the storm track, the core of the winds will be roughly between Greenville, Jacksonville, and New Bern. The highest amounts probably southern Onslow County near the coast, but also some enhancement up the Neuse River and Pamlico River, places like Washington and New Bern with that exposure to the water. Could see the same thing on the western end of the Albemarle Sound for northern Washington County. We mentioned at the beginning, not a lot of difference between a strong tropical storm and a low-end hurricane. We could see some hurricane force wind gusts at least approach it or maybe exceed it, especially across southern Onslow County down near the coast itself. And this red area is just to the right of the track itself. So if it shifts a little bit 10 miles this way to the right or left, that could adjust these values somewhat. But again, be prepared for the potential for hurricane force wind gusts, regardless if it's a tropical storm or low-end hurricane. We've mentioned this last couple of days. Please help share this message. The potential for several tornadoes are possible tonight into early Tuesday. This can occur well away from the center itself. So those first outer rain bands that are approaching can produce these tornadoes, and they can lead to some enhanced areas of damage. A storm surge watch remains in effect. This is largely unchanged overnight, and this means that inundation of 3 feet or greater is possible. These are low-lying areas adjacent to the water. Normally, dry areas could see 3 feet or more of inundation. To get to the specifics, 2 to 4 feet in the orange areas and up to 2 feet in the yellow areas. And let's break it down for you. First, let's start on the ocean side. With a southeast wind, we're mainly concerned with the Crystal Coast, also Ocracoke, Hatteras Island, south of Cape Hatteras. These areas 2 to 4 feet. As you start to round the bend and get north of the Cape, 2 to 3 feet up through Oregon Inlet. I know you're in the 2 to 4 on the map, but probably just a little bit less. And then as you get a little farther north of Oregon Inlet, the northern Outer Banks, with regards to ocean side only, up to 2 feet. Now, let's switch over to the sound side. Up to 2 feet, Hatteras Island, Ocracoke, down East Carteret County. The wind is primarily from the southeast, then switching into the southwest. So that will push the river or the water toward the western end of the sound and the northern end of the sound. We do not anticipate a wind shift in the northwest, so we don't expect a lot of surge sound side Ocracoke and Hatteras Island, but there'll be some sloshing back toward those areas, and that's why you could see up to 2 feet. The greater concern with surge on the sound is up the Neuse River toward New Bern, up the Pamlico River toward Washington, up the Pungo River toward Belhaven, and then especially the northern Outer Banks, places like Manio and Kitty Hawk, on that southeast to southwest wind, you could have 2 to 4 feet above normally dry ground in terms of surge. Those values do not include wave action. So if you live in an exposed area, waves will add to that and pile it up just a little bit higher. So if you live in an exposed area facing the water where the surge is coming from, you could see some localized higher amounts. For rainfall, also largely unchanged, generally less than an inch across the Outer Banks, 2 to 4 across the central part of our area, and then 4 to 6 west of Kinston, Greenville, and up toward northwest Martin County. Could be some slight shifts with this if any storm track changes, but this will produce the highest risk for flash flooding, especially inland, and we've got a flash flood watch for those areas. Please remember that most flood-related deaths are occurring in vehicles, so turn around, don't drown. With regards to river flooding, we still expect it to be mainly minor, and again, this would be very, very late in the week. Hot spots could be along the Neuse River near Kinston, Contentnia Creek at Hookerton. This is a model example of what could happen. The orange is the most likely scenario, getting up into the minor stage. Worst case scenario for those similar locations would be approaching moderate. And then if you're wondering about Chinkapin or Greenville along the Northeast Cape Fear and the Tar River, most likely scenario for you folks would be remaining in action stage, so the level coming up, and worst case would be minor. And again, these impacts would not occur until later in the week. Some key takeaways: again, storm surge generally 2 to 4 feet. Highest period of impact will be overnight tonight, early Tuesday morning when people are sleeping. Please have ways to get those warnings, multiple ways, and make sure you have a battery-powered weather radio so you can get information from us as it occurs overnight. Some housekeeping: we'll send out another PDF briefing like this to our website by 6:30 today. Easiest way to find that is weather.gov/Morehead City. If you just click on the top hand part of the page, you can get those briefings just like what we're showing here right now. Also, social media, search NWS Morehead City, especially YouTube. These recordings we're posting to YouTube, and then Facebook and Twitter, we have some individual graphics as well. Please share this information with folks in the community.